Hi, I am here today in warm Phoenix, Arizona, and I actually wasn't planning to be here this weekend. What happened is I am in Phoenix for a couple of weeks at my mother's house. Some of you may know I had to put my mother in an assisted living facility just recently, and I'm here putting up the house, going through mom's stuff, so that next week, a week from today, we can put this beautiful Ahwatukee home on the market. But yesterday I was feeling a little homesick, wanted to go home to Sedona just for the weekend to rest up and offload some of the things that I have of hers in my car. My car is packed. You can't put anything else in the car, and when you open the door, stuff starts falling out. That's how packed it is. But yesterday, around 9:30, I'm ready to go. I decided to call 511, which is the road conditions here in Arizona. So I called 511 to get the traffic report, and this is the message I got. So I'm all packed up, ready to go home to Sedona. It is Saturday morning, and about 10 o'clock I was ready. So the first thing you want to do is you want to call 511 and get the Arizona road conditions, and this is what I heard. You always want to check to make sure.
This is Arizona 511, sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Motorists planning to travel northbound on Interstate 17 should consider delaying travel or taking an alternate route according to the Arizona Department of Transportation. Traffic is extremely backed up through Black Canyon City. There is no estimation for when traffic will clear up.
Now, I decided instead of leaving at 9:30, I'll just go with my son. I have a 20-year-old son, and we'll go look at some condos and townhouses for sale in Phoenix, because maybe I'll want a condo at some point. And while we were out, I got a flat tire. So not only got a flat tire, I pull over. I had to call Alex's dad to come help me change it, because to get to the spare and the tools and the jack, I have to open the car and move half of the stuff out of the back to get to it. So we changed the tire. That's good. Big O Tire couldn't fix it. It was that far gone, and said they could get me a new tire on Monday. So I'm here for the weekend, not going home. Sad. But hopefully by next week I can go home for a couple of days. So that's the story. That's why I'm here in Phoenix. And it was only 107 yesterday, so I didn't die of heat exhaustion. Neither did my boy. But that's the story. But it got me thinking, why are so many people going out of town for the weekend that you can't even leave? And why I know this is driving the mass cabin buying frenzy that we've been seeing in northern Arizona this year. People are asking me what's going on. Can I ever buy a cabin again? What should I do? Should I wait till next year? And that got me thinking, why don't we talk a little bit today about what is going on in the northern Arizona market? So here I am. I want to tell you I am not an expert in forecasting, and forecasting is actually a fine skill, and you have to take in a lot of consideration on environmental factors, what's going on, changing in the demographics to do a forecast that's, even possibly accurate, and then something can come along like a virus and just throw your model to hell. So I don't want you to listen to what I'm saying and make any major decisions based on that. I just want you to get an idea of this could be happening in the market, just so you're a little bit informed. So here's what I see happening. Again, there's the run to the hills. Buyers are buying in the country like crazy. Cabins are going like crazy. Northern Arizona towns like Flagstaff, you can't even get a starter home in Flagstaff. I have people that are young, wanting to buy their first home. They're thinking of buying out in like Mormon Lake Munts Park, where you've got a 30 to 45 minute commute to Flagstaff, just because that's the only place they can get a home. So it seems kind of crazy. And who knows if that's going to continue, but I'm going to tell you what some of the experts are saying. Now, I'm not claiming to be an expert in forecasting, but I do have an MBA. Now, I'm not saying that I'm smarter than everyone because I have an MBA. That's just, the effort you put into something you're interested in. But it does tell you that I'm geeky enough that I know a little bit about business, and I do watch the market forecasts in real estate. I watch YouTube videos based on the experts' opinions every single day. So I do have a lot of information going on, and I'm just going to tell you what I hear from experts and what I think that might mean to Arizona. Now, real estate is something that is very extra hyper local. So what is happening in the rest of the country, which is a lot of these forecasts I'm looking at, may not happen in your hyper local area, specifically northern Arizona towns. Now maybe it does, but right now if you're watching the market, you're seeing a lot of doomsday predictions. Oh my God, we're going to have the biggest crash since the Depression in 2021. And I want to first talk about why people are saying that and if that could or could happen. Again, none of us know. But what I see happening and what experts are predicting is in the inner cities like New York City and San Francisco, this has already started where they're getting a lot more houses for sale in the market. There's maybe twice, I heard, in San Francisco of the inventory there was last year, and they're thinking that those markets could crash. So the big city markets could be in trouble. New York, San Francisco, Chicago, Los Angeles, possibly Central Phoenix, but I don't know. Now, why are they thinking that could happen? So let me tell you what happened 6 months ago when the states, Arizona shut down, and most of the states in the country shut down. A lot of people were in trouble. They couldn't pay their mortgage, so they implemented these mortgage forbearance programs, which was good. But some of these mortgage forbearance were just, not all of them are just a delay. We're going to give you 6 months or 3 months until you have to pay your mortgage again. So what the experts are worried about is in the 3 or 6 months what they expire, which could be later this fall. People can't pay their mortgage again. They're going to put their home on the market. Well, yeah, that makes sense. So we could have an increase in inventory in the few months, which would actually be good because we're so short right now, but I'll get to that later. There's another issue though, is in some of these forbearance programs, they say, oh, you can delay your payment 3 to 6 months, but it's not like we're going to just start up from the beginning. Say you were paying $2,000 a month and then you don't pay for 6 months, you may owe the entire $12,000 once the forbearance period expires. And then, oh no, I can't pay my mortgage, we're going to put the home up for sale. So this is what is fueling the doomsday, oh my God, it's all going to collapse in 221 from the experts, and that you might be hearing a lot of that. So I'm going to tell you that is what is driving it, and that's why people are scared. Now, again, I was talking about hyper local, the real estate markets. Let me tell you what's been happening in Arizona. Well, first, yes, we are very short of inventory. Actually, the country is probably short of inventory, but Arizona has been experiencing a 6 to 7% migration into the state over the last 4 or 5 years. I read a report yesterday that said 200 people moved to Maricopa County every single day. Now, that means more people moving into the state needing homes. I do see a lot of new building going on, but I don't know if that is enough to quench the mass population influx. At the same time, we have a shortage of inventory, way fewer homes on the market. So, for example, I started real estate in, oh my goodness, Yuki, I started real estate for a little over 4 years ago, June of 2016. I signed on as a brand new agent here in Phoenix, Century 21, and we would have office meetings. Now, the first thing that happens, the first thing you have to do is subscribe to your local MLS. So I subscribe to the Phoenix area MLS, which I am still a subscriber, and I do log on to Phoenix MLS almost every day. So the first thing is you'll log on, and up comes a number which will tell you the number of active homes on the market. So these are homes that are actively for sale, or maybe they are under contract with the contingency or taking backup offers, but it will give you that number. So 4 years ago in June, I'd log into Phoenix and up would come the number. Oh, there's 23,000 homes on the market for sale in Phoenix. And my broker would say, oh my goodness, we're so short of inventory. 24,000 or 23,000, whatever the number was. Now, August 2020, I log on to the same Phoenix multiple listing service. Up comes the number of how many active homes are on the market, and there are only 13,000-ish. So we have had an enormous drop of inventory. What that's more than a third, I think, of the homes available for sale, and you've had all these people migrating into the state over the last 4 or 5 years, and that's continuing. There's no end in sight. So that is what is driving the inventory shortage in Arizona right now. So you go to buy a home. I work with people out of state all the time. It's one of my biggest group of buyers. And then many people in Phoenix that are buying cabins in northern Arizona. So those are my big bulk of buyers. People out of state looking to move, like in 2 weeks, I'm going to be here, help me find a house. And I'll send them listings, and then they'll say, ooh, could you look at this one for me? I pull it up and it's already under contract. Now this has been happening frequently. And then with cabins, like I am a huge cabin seller. In fact, I sell cabins in the northern Arizona towns like Flagstaff, Munns Park, Mormon Lake, Stoneman Lake. Pretty much all summer I'm selling cabins, and then all winter I focus on Sedona, Verde Valley, Cottonwood, and even here in Phoenix. But I digress. But this is how I see what's going on. So the last 2 cabins I've sold have sold over asking price, and I have one in escrow that's considerably over asking price because I'll take a buyer out, and all the cabins that they like are sold by the time they get home. They'll put in an offer on one, and we've had 5 offers, and you didn't get it. So this has been happening, and so we'll put, 10, 20,000 over asking price to get a cabin. That seems insane, but that's been what is happening. So if the market crashes here in Arizona, it may double the inventory on the market or even triple the inventory on the market. And I'm not sure if that will have such an adverse effect, because right now, again, we're so under inventory that it might just kind of even it out. So maybe now if you want to buy a home, you'll look and it'll be there. There might be 2 or 3 that fit your criteria that you can choose from and buy one and not have to panic. In other cases, like this last one I have in escrow came in the market on a Wednesday, my buyer oh, can you look at this? And I went racing out with my video camera. I took pictures of the inside of the home, the outside of the home, the street, the neighbors, and we made a sale based on that because we knew by the weekend it would be gone. So hopefully you won't have to do that. Maybe on a Wednesday you'll see a cabin hit the market, and then by the weekend you'll go up and look at it and decide you like it, and you can buy it without 15 other people bidding it up. So if we get double, triple inventory in northern Arizona, it may not make the market here crash. It might just make it better. Now in Phoenix, in congested inner Phoenix, or congested downtown Tempe, say, I don't really know, because I don't serve those markets very often, so I can't tell you. Maybe those markets will crash. But I think in the suburbs and out in the country here in Arizona, you're probably somewhat safe. And now if you're thinking of buying a home that you're going to live in yourself and you're going to stay in it the next 4 or 5 years, you should really be fine. In fact, probably always be fine, because remember, the real estate market is very cyclical. It'll go up and down, up and down. Now say you buy a house and next year you need to sell it because you lost your job and the market crashes. That's when you get into trouble. But if you're just living there and it's your own home and you want to stay there, usually it's not that big of a problem. Now, I would not recommend buying homes to flip right now because it's too uncertain. I mean, it might not crash, but we don't know. It might be too risky to buy homes to flip. But if you're planning to buy a home to live in for at least 5 years, I'm thinking you're going to be okay. Although I might avoid downtown Phoenix, I don't know. Now, on the national level, New York, San Francisco, experts are predicting people are going to be leaving the big cities and moving out to the suburbs or even out to the country. And I'm going to tell you why they are thinking this. Because of what happened this year. So earlier this year, March, April, state of Arizona shut down. So did many other states in the country. Now, I'm a former IT worker, so I'm kind of in the know with people that work in IT, which here in Arizona, we have a high IT presence. So I used to work for Intel, and we were very strict when I worked there, which was the 90s and the early 2000s, where they had this rule. They called it butts in seats, which meant all the employees, they wanted you in your seat starting 8 a.m., and ending at 5 p.m. every single day, Monday through Friday. And they would say, oh, if you want to come earlier than 8 a.m. or if you want to stay later than 5 p.m., oh, that's okay. We just want you in your seat in those hours. So if you had a cabin in northern Arizona, say, you would only be able to use it on the weekend because you'd have to be back by Monday morning to work. And, that limits the use you get out of the place. But now, a lot of the IT companies and other employers too are saying, you don't need to come back into the office until 2021. And they're realizing, hey, with these people working from home, I don't have to buy expensive office buildings. I don't have to cool down the buildings. I don't have to have high electric buildings. Maybe I should continue this from now on. And a lot of people that I know in IT are saying they're on furlough, they're working from home till next year, and maybe they'll never go back in the office. So because of this, people are buying cabins like crazy because now they can work there all summer, they can work there all week, and they can just get good internet service and do their job from their cabin, and that's giving them a much higher return on their investment. So why not buy a cabin? If you've been thinking about it, why not do it now? It would be, a great time. So there's another thing that's happening is we've got the virus now. People are scared. They don't want to get sick. They don't want to die. They don't want their loved ones to die. And if you live in a crowded city, you're thinking, maybe it's time to go to the suburb. Maybe it's time to go to the country. And that is driving some of the sales in northern Arizona. There's one other thing too. It's the violence. These protests have started out as peaceful protests, but a lot of them have turned violent. Not as bad here in Phoenix, but definitely we have had in Scottsdale and Phoenix some violent protests. Now you're scared. Like I have an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old. My 20-year-old is high-functioning autism. He shoots his mouth off when he's out in a crowd. You see these kids out there having a peaceful time and they get shot dead. So I am scared to death. I would like to have both my kids just move in with me in Sedona and never leave the area. But as parents, we can't really do that. But I'm sure I'm not alone in parents that are scared for their kids just because of the civil unrest that's going on in this country. One more thing that's happening. And I have to admit, I am a baby boomer. I was born in 1964, which is the very last year of the baby boom. So people my age are starting to think, ooh, I'd like to retire someday. And they're starting to buy a second home, vacation home in northern Arizona, Sedona, and then they travel back and forth, and at some point they expect they'll retire. They already have their home, and then they'll sell their home wherever they're from. If they're from Phoenix, if they're from California, the Midwest, wherever, but they buy homes or cabins as a transition to their retirement plan. Now, I did this myself. Last year I was living in Sedona and I kept my Phoenix house, but last year I thought, that's it. I sold my Phoenix house, moved to Sedona full time. I am not anywhere near retirement, but hey, I decided I want to live now where I expect to end up during my retirement years. And so that is driving some of the northern Arizona crazy home sales. So that is what's happening. And I'm trying to think what else is going on you might want to know about. Anyhow, again, I just want to say, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you want to buy a cabin next year instead of this year. What I usually recommend is if you're really wanting to buy a cabin, just let me set you up on a drip where you get emailed cabins anytime a new one comes on the market. And then if you see one you like, we could go look at it and maybe make a sale, but don't get emotionally involved. If you can't buy one this year, we will, new ones come on the market all the time, and maybe next year's your year, or maybe late in the fall, one will come on the market you like and you can make a deal. I actually sell cabins every year late into the fall. Somebody is like, oh, I watched all year and I should have bought something. Let's go find something. So that does happen. That's all I have for you today. If you like this video, please do me a favor and give a thumbs up. And if you really like it and you're interested in finding out about real estate or any topics in northern Arizona, subscribe. I post a new video every single week, and I hope to see you back here again next week.